If I could just teach you one thing, this would be it. Good morning and welcome to Motivational Monday. How are you doing? I'm Bill Deweese, professional voiceover talent, voiceover coach, and voiceover demo producer. Hope you had a wonderful weekend, and I appreciate you stopping by this morning. Hey, before we go any further, just a couple of things. Number one, I love it when you let me know who you are. I'd love to acknowledge you at the end of the stream. I could do shout outs to those of you, especially the faithful who are here every morning. There are so many of you. Just let me know your name and where you're watching or listening from this morning, and you're pouring into the stream now. I love it. Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome. Good to have you here. And also, if you haven't done it yet, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. And when you like videos, give them a thumbs up and share them. And in case you're not aware, there's over 1,000 videos on this channel, all dedicated to help you become better and be more successful in voiceover. And a big announcement tomorrow night, beginning at 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, will be my next live training event. This class will cost less than $100. It's the secrets of self-performance, of self-directing. So this is going to teach you how to direct yourself when you're in the studio at home to get the best read you possibly can, to make your auditions better, to book more work, to make more money. That sounds like something that would help you. Go below into the description, click the link, get all the details, get signed up while virtual seats are still available. Well, one thing, if I could give you one thing, it would be, and it's a quote by Arianna Huffington on this Motivational Monday morning. It would be, quote, to accept that we won't always make the right decisions, that we'll screw up royally sometimes, understanding that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. I want you to just marinate in that for just a moment. Let that seep into your consciousness, into the pores of your very being. This is so incredibly important. If I could just teach you one thing, it would have nothing to do with your voice. And I'm talking about success in voiceover, by the way, but it would be this, and it's a mindset, to accept that you will not always make the right decisions. You'll screw up royally sometimes, but understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of success. So let's tease that out a little bit, break it down. You're going to screw up. I mean, that's the fact. We spend so much energy, so much time trying to defend our ego because we're so afraid that if we blow it, especially in an area that's so important to us, like voiceover, that somehow it will reduce who we are. But it's accepting the fact that blowing it is part of being human, and accepting yourself as that, knowing that it doesn't make you less than you are, that it doesn't make you less than others. It's just a part of the journey. That's the first, and it took me a long time to understand that. I used to work so hard to not embarrass myself. Well, the reality is, as the quote goes on to say, you have to understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. We don't learn nearly as much in our success as we do in our failure. And if you're not failing, it means you're not trying. And I have embarrassed myself. I have screwed up more times than I could possibly count since beginning my voiceover career. But I will tell you this, nothing terrible happened as a result. Oh, maybe some disappointing things have happened. You know, some of you may recall that I was that I had been contacted. I was one of two folks that were we were auditioning for a national ad campaign. So, you know, it's a high dollar ticket thing. And we were auditioning using Source Connect. After my audition, found out that my setup was wrong and I was recording into the microphone of my computer and not into my microphone of my studio. I didn't win that audition. And I was thoroughly embarrassed and I was thoroughly disappointed. But you know what? It didn't end my career. It didn't hurt me. What it did, it made me more aware. And I guarantee you, first of all, I've not made that mistake since. And here's the other guarantee. I will never make that mistake again. It was a painful and it was an expensive mistake. That's not to say that I would have won the audition had it been working. But I'm sure the fact that I didn't do it properly did not help my case. Pretty sure of that. So, and that's just one example of many, 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 many. Every embarrassment, every failure, every trip and fall is just the fuel that educates you, that feeds you, that makes you stronger, that ensures your success. The people who are not succeeding, and here's my final thought on this. If you're not succeeding in voiceover, I'm willing to bet it has next to nothing to do with this, your voice. And it has a whole lot to do with what's going on up in here. I've never seen a person fail in voiceover because they didn't sound good enough. But I've seen lots of people fall off the path because they couldn't keep this in line. They couldn't get their head straight. And that begins with understanding that you will not be perfect and that you must allow yourself to make mistakes. You cannot know the answer to every possible scenario ahead of time. You can't. You have to be willing to move forward when the light is only shining a few feet in front of you. Because if you're not willing to do that, you need to find a job. Let me just be honest. If you're not willing to do something where you will walk in the dark, I'm not saying you're not trained or don't have some tools or some competencies, but if you're not willing to walk in the dark and figure some things out as you go, then you need to get a regular job, because you're not cut out for not only being a voiceover talent, but for being self-employed. It's just, and if you want to learn to do that, then you need to learn to suck it up and get afraid and be afraid. And, there have been times I've sat in the studio and I've sweat through my clothes that I've been so nervous. But that's just part of the gig. You learn. Each time you do that, you get more confident. And if there's one thing that I could give you this morning, it would be the knowledge to help you understand that you're not going to be perfect. You're going to make plenty of mistakes. You're going to embarrass yourself plenty of times. It's the only way to move forward. But the failure it's not the opposite of success. It's the fuel. It's part of it. Without it, you cannot be successful. So let's get out there today, get out there this week, and let's do something. Even if you don't know exactly what you're doing, who cares? Just do what you know to do. And if you blow it, so what? Join the club. That's a part of this whole gig, is blowing it. I know you've heard me say this plenty of times, but voiceover is a game of losing more than it is of winning. Nobody wins most of their auditions. Nobody gets most of the jobs of the folks they reach out to, at least nobody that I know, and I've been doing this for a long time, and I've met thousands of people along the way. It's not the way it works. It takes a strong constitution to do this. It takes a strong ego, and by ego, I don't mean arrogance. I mean, you have to know who you are, and by ego, I don't mean the person you want everybody else to think you are, but a strong sense of who you really are. And knowing that making a mistake does not lessen you in any way, shape, or form. It only makes you stronger. So hang in there. Keep moving forward. Remember the one thing. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's closely aligned and integrated into success. It's necessary. It's the fuel of success. And until you accept that, you will struggle and you will be frustrated. So be motivated. You can do it, but you have to be willing to move forward when the light's not shining brightly in front of you, and be willing to stub your toe along the way. But I'm here to tell you, as somebody who's done it plenty of times, I survived. I lived to tell the tale, and so will you, and you will be a better person for it. And voiceover success is so worth it. Oh my gosh, it's changed my life in so many ways, and it can do the same for you. All right, guys. All right, how you like that? That's the truth. That's the truth. I'm not just trying to get you all jazzed up here on this Monday. I mean, I want you to succeed. I want you to understand this, and I keep coming back to this because it is so central to everything. I know you'd love to hear me talk more about microphones. What microphone to use? Is this microphone better than that microphone? How about this audio interface? Yeah. That's the final 5% of the equation that we have to figure out at the end. I'm not saying that's not part of it. We're talking about tools. That's tools. You better get this right. This is your tool right there. And if that's not right, forget the rest of it. Forget this. Forget that. Forget everything. You better get the head right. And your head right means you're willing to accept walking through territory that you've never been before, and that it's going to stretch you. And sometimes it's downright scary, but at the end of the day, it is exhilarating. It is exciting, and it will take you places that you've never gone before. So, okay, I'll stop at that point. Because this kind of stuff jazzes me up, because I've been through this. I know what it takes. And I've worked with so many people. I've seen so many people, like I said, I hate to say fail. Basically, they get frustrated and they quit. It's because they're not willing to let go of all this other stuff, these distractions, and to focus on the stuff that really matters, because that's the stuff that really requires mental fortitude and mental and emotional strength. And maybe you're not there today. That's okay. You just take baby steps. Every good choice that you make is going to, and every fearful situation that you tackle head on is going to help you to move forward. All right, let's see who's on the stream this morning. We've got Galen in Cincinnati. Hey, Galen, how you doing? Phil in Tokyo, what's up? Doug in Greensboro, North Carolina. We've got Ty in Warsaw, Indiana. Aaron in Como. We've got Wayne in the Olympic Mountains. Bob in sunny Florida, Reidsville. Oh, back from sunny Florida. That's right, in Reidsville, North Carolina. Denise, how are you doing in Long Island? Barb in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Corey, happy Monday to you in Whitehall, Wisconsin. Rusty in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Just got another Upwork job right now. That's fantastic, Rusty. Congratulations to you. Julie, how are you doing in Humboldt, Pennsylvania? DeCarlos, good morning to you in fabulous Las Vegas. One of my favorite cities. I haven't been there in years, but I'd love to get back soon. Corey, good morning to you in Middle Point, Ohio. Merrill says, hey, Bill, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Greetings from northern New Jersey. I did, Merrill. Thank you. I had we babysat our 3 grandkids this weekend. Mallory and Will went to Michigan for the weekend, and we had the 3 grandkids, and we were able to do some fun stuff. It's funny. It's a reminder. Yeah, it's funny. Once you get away from parenthood, you kind of forget some of the dynamics that are involved when you've got 3 kids in the house and all that, and just the dynamics between them, which can be wonderful. But sometimes, man, that it's nitpicking and aggravation and stop it. No, it's my turn. All that kind. But we had a great time. It was fun. It was wonderful. And that's one of the big reasons we moved back here to Illinois. Adele, how you doing in Newport News, Virginia? And Mike in Spanish Fort, Alabama. Bill in Boise. John in Rhinebeck, New York. Melissa, San Diego. Go Ohio State. How about that Ohio State Notre Dame game? If you're a Notre Dame Notre Dame fan, I'm sorry, but my gosh, what a game. Oh my goodness. I can't remember the last time I saw a second half as exciting as that, where my team, Ohio State, wins the game literally in the final second of the game with the ball literally just breaking the plane of the goal, not even making it past the white line. I mean, laying on the white line, where he stretched out, his knees are just that far above the grass as the clock ticks down and had his knees touch the grass a quarter of a second earlier before he hit the goal line. We would have lost the game. Amazing. So much fun. Let's see here. Hey, Dr. Bob, how are you doing in Clearwater? AJB in Louisville. Riley. I used your tip from last week's video on reading, and I've gotten my first paid gig. Riley, there's my voiceover celebration bell. Congrats to you on that first job. That's fantastic. And thanks for using the tips. I mean, I love doing them, but I love it more when you guys use them. That's fantastic, Riley. Marlene, good morning to you in Fresno, California. Renee in Richmond, Virginia. Jack in Phoenix. Ruben in Santa Paula, California. Let's see here. Marie in Texas. Watching with my favorite breakfast, eggs and grits. Yum. By the way, speaking of breakfast, our oldest grandchild, who's 13, ordered something called an Eskimo waffle this weekend. We went out for breakfast. It's a waffle with ice cream. Maybe I've talked about this before because this is not the first time this has happened. And I have, and I withheld. I was tempted, but I didn't get that. But I sure enjoyed watching him eat it. A couple scoops of ice cream, 2 or 3 scoops of ice cream on a waffle with strawberries and chocolate sauce and strawberry sauce and whipped cream. Boy. Armin, good morning to you in Los Angeles. Steve in Mobile, Alabama. Victoria. A quick question you're asking about. I was told I shouldn't do a free gig for clients because it might give you issues in the future. Well, it's really up to you, Victoria. There's no rule that says you can or you can't. I tend to I do occasionally, I'll do something for nothing if it's for like a nonprofit. Not all the time, but sometimes. And I've occasionally done things for students, for student projects. I don't and I can't do them all the time. But it's really, if you don't have experience and you want to do it for experience, there's nothing wrong with that. The only issue I could foresee is they may not want to pay you in the future and ask you to do it. But, so you just tell them it's going to cost them. If you want, if you want to play it that way, which you certainly have every right to. So it's really up to you. There's nothing wrong with it. Scotty, how are you doing? Glad to see the Dewey's family survived a dramatic college football win on Saturday. I think it put a few more gray hairs on my head, but all for a good cause in the end. Tess in Tequila, Georgia. Riley, obstacles do not block the path. They are the path. Oh, obstacles are the path. That's very good. Very good. Charles, my wife signed up and finished Mallory's Fiverr course. What a great resource because Fiverr's user interface is not very intuitive. My wife watched it 3 or 4 times. He's referring to my daughter Mallory has created a Fiverr course because, she makes a 6-figure income recording voiceovers just for Fiverr clients alone. She does more than that, but I'm saying just on that platform. And if you want to find out more about it, it is Mallory, Mallory, Mallory Fiverr with 2 R's, Fiverr, MalloryFiverrTraining.com. And Charles, thanks for the good word there. Appreciate it. Doug says my screen is locked. Is it just me? Doug, I think it is. I'm so sorry to say. Marie says, I needed to hear that. Thank you. I spend hours making sure I don't embarrass myself, but you're right, messing up at times will happen. Just got to keep going. Yeah, and when it's a lot of unnecessary emotional energy that we spend trying to appear to have it all together. When really, let's back this camera way out. The truth is, none of us have it all together. None of us. We're all screwed up to some degree, right? Hopefully, we're working on that, to make it all better. But it's funny. It's just funny to me. And I know it's our natural human instinct to defend our egos. We want people to think that we're more than we are or that we're better than we are. But the reality is we're all pretty screwed up. We're just, and the best we can do is just try to help each other out along the way. Okay, Scotty, make mistakes, learn, move on. Yeah, it's easy to overthink everything. I understand that. Ralph in Cedar Falls, Iowa. Michelle from Philly, thank you. David says, good morning from Gardner, Kansas. As an only child, learning that I am not perfect was a hard and valuable lesson to learn. Yeah. Yes, David, thank you for the comment. I appreciate that. Kathleen, good morning to you in southwestern Wyoming. Dave in New York City, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Well, that's the truth. You could boil it down to that. Let's see here. Rob, hey, how are you doing? All finished with the Miramar Air Show and we'll be headed home today with good work this week back in the booth. Thanks, Bill, for what I've learned from you in the blueprint. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate the kind words. I'm glad your air show went well. Safe travels. Wally says, thanks for your insight in wet Annapolis, Maryland. Wade in Philadelphia, good morning. Persistence is the key to succeeding. Yes, indeed it is. We've got Andrew in Calgary, Derek in Kennewick, Washington, Victoria. Making mistakes makes you stronger. Yes. Marie says, yeehaw, which is appropriate for somebody who lives in Dallas, right? I'm motivated, she says. Terry, good morning in Falston, Maryland. Good words of wisdom. Stay motivated. Believe in yourself. Marlene, Mr. D, this is the most tactful butt kicking I've ever had. I kick butt on occasion, but I try to do it in the most responsible and constructive way that I possibly can. Theo says, good morning from gorgeous downtown Chicago, where a little rain will give way to a beautiful day. Yeah, I woke up this morning hearing a little thunder, but I think that's all supposed to move past us. At least I hope so, Theo. Ron in Charleston, South Carolina. Heather, good morning to you. Yes, mindset is everything. JR says, good morning from Austin, Texas. Happy Motivational Monday. Craig, thanks for sharing. Reality in Wichita. Mr. Landers, as usual, spot on, Sensei Bill. I got spoiled when I joined ACX a few months ago. Got 3 books out of the first 8 auditions. That's awesome. Now 30 auditions and still 3 books. Feast or famine, still work on it. Yeah, it's kind of like baseball, batting in baseball. You go through streaks. It is a numbers game, and if you keep going to bat, you're eventually going to work through all that stuff. But that's where the mental toughness comes in for sure. Hello from Malaysia. Thanks for the motivation. Submitted over 40 auditions last week and only got 2, or casted for 2, but I'm thrilled. You should be. Hey, 1 for 20, that's better than most, I would say. That would be better than, it takes me usually about, like, if you go on a pay to play, it takes me 40 auditions or so to get a job, if you want to put it in context. Of course, it all depends on where you're auditioning, and some channels I do better, some channels I do worse. It just depends. Heather, focus on the stuff that really matters. Victoria, happy Monday to you in Nigeria. Theo, can I get a ring of the bell? Yes, you can. I don't even know what for, but Theo, I trust you so much. There's the ring. Now let's find out what I rung it for. I recently got my very first positive response from direct email marketing. It took a little while, but there it is. There you go, Theo. That's awesome. Good for you for playing the numbers. And I tell you, if you're like Theo and in my voiceover blueprint, you're going to hear me preach that over and over. And I think sometimes these guys just give in because they're so tired of hearing me saying it. They're like, okay, just shut up already. I'll do it. And then you get a good response. There you go. Dan, how are you doing in the UK? Marlene, congrats, Theo, she says. Victoria, congrats, Theo. Casey, good morning. In Cola, South Carolina. I didn't know there was a Cola, South Carolina. I hope to join the blueprint in the next few months. I hope you do, Casey. I love the content, and I'm ready to jump in after 19 years of working in dentistry. All right. Well, Casey, this could be a good career move for you. I find it so fascinating because I work with people who have come from every conceivable, imaginable background to come into voiceover. The one thing that we all know how to do, though, is communicate in our own personal way. And if you can do that, it's all good. John, take it light and make it right. I like that. Hey, Claire, how are you doing? Cassandra, Sao Paulo, I'm here. Ethan. Happy Monday from Toronto. Well, Claire says my microphone stopped, but it looks like I'm still getting, let me double check. Yeah, it looks like I'm still getting comments. So I think it must be on your end, Claire, although you can't hear me say that, so sorry. Oh, it's because the Bluetooth on her cell phone switched over to another device. Thank you so much for the Monday huddles. I come from a corporate environment. It always makes me smile. Rally the troops. LOL. Thank you so much for taking time to do this. You're very welcome. Oh, let's see here. Charlotte, North Carolina, Brett Girl, and then Dean in Lake Elsmore, California. Whew, boy, that was a mouthful because there were so many of you guys, and I thank you for being here. I appreciate it. So once again, these words of wisdom from Ariana Huffington. We need to accept that we won't always make the right decisions, that we'll screw up royally sometimes, understanding that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Don't forget, tomorrow night is my live event. Go to the link below. Get signed up now. We'll see you then. Well, actually, I'll see you in the morning. Take care. Have a great day.